like to start with thanking everyone for coming out. I'm absolutely impressed with the numbers that this group has had for bringing such a wonderful venue to our community. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so what I'd like to share with you is that 10 years ago, I started to compile material to write a book on trauma and its effects on child and the mother during the birth process. The patterning that is set up in the birth process may interfere with the progression of life in the path of the infant. There are no accidents. Many traumatic and dramatic scenarios carry seeds for the issues and lessons both mother and child are facing in their life. While destiny plays a part, there are many man-made traumas that can be avoided and eliminated. These include premature, long labors, breech, and induction, just to mention a few. And I ran into this because I had a daughter that did not want to come into the world to be with me 32 years ago. She was breech. We turned around a number of times. The doctor turned her around, and she still sat on the pelvic girdle, and I had to walk 7 miles a day to keep the energy in my legs. She was breech, 7 days going into labor, 39 hours of hard labor, and in the end they did a C-section. So believe me, I know what I'm talking about. Well, we've all survived the hype over December 21st. And the major energy shift that we went through. We've moved from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age with a major rush. How many of you feel like the world is spinning and you don't know how to get back in control? Well, it will begin to settle down. However, more and more changes are happening and will be continuing because we're moving into a feminine energy that's going to allow women to take over and be more in charge of the things that are going on around them. So men, move over. As humanity continues to evolve, each new group of children have specific characteristics to fulfill their purpose spiritually, moving out of old energies of fear, greed, corruption, competition, and stress into the energy of love, integrity, manifestation, and cooperation. These children have been arriving through the last several decades, beginning with the flower children and the hippies, as most of us know them. They've come to assist us during this really important time in our planetary evolution, as they remember they are connected to the divine and are intuitive, more telepathic, and a very sensitive generation. Many have warrior-like personalities, almost expressing an obsessive or headstrong attitude with a purpose to change the world from becoming archaic in education, government, relationships, and healthcare. Look at how many young people are in the news helping other children in need, collecting money to assist building schools in Africa. The majority of us are indigo. Indigo Scouts. As you can see, I have a chart here. It is not exacting. They overlap, and what you're going to find from family to family, some of the personalities and traits will be much more prominent than some of the other ones for the other members of the family. It's okay. We're all here to move the world forward. So I'm an Indigo Scout. 1940s to 60s. Give my age away? A little bit. Many are taking their places as leaders within our communities. They've come in with a life purpose to help as needed. I, as a spiritual leader in the community, have been teaching awareness for 35 plus years. One of the main things I teach are the natural laws to help you move forward in your life to co-create what all the other speakers have been addressing. I had the Alva Show for 5.5 years to communicate that we all have the gift. It's just identifying where your strengths and awareness is and how to find your life purpose. Many have agreed to take ordinary jobs where they can reach a lot of people through encouraging words and uplifting attitudes. How many around you share positive thoughts and encouragements daily? Especially with the seniors. Have you noticed that? My habit going into a bank was talking to everyone around me to make sure that I put a smile on someone's face, even as a child. They often know deep down they aren't from Earth. They have a sense that they've been dropped off here on this planet and waiting for someone to take them home. Are you one of these? I am. I feel like I was dropped off. At 3, I would say to playmates, our world is not what you think it is. Wait till you get older and you'll see for yourself. These are the pioneers who are undergoing spiritual and physical transformation, awakening to their higher consciousness. They often zoned out for prolonged periods of time in youth as they were adjusting to higher dimensions. My reports in grade 2 and 3 were that I was constantly daydreaming. If they only knew where I went. Are you one of these? Daydreaming a lot? Obsessive needs to understand what is happening, leading to the mind being overactive with the result of anxieties about pollutions, lack of resources, alien technologies, etc. This is because they resonate with the levels of group mind, including that part which holds fears, anxieties about survival of the species. Do you understand when I talk about group mind? Everybody knows the 100th monkey incident, you know, where the monkey goes into the ground, finds a sweet potato, takes it into the water, washes it, and then everyone on the next island that are monkeys start doing the same thing. This is group mentality, okay? And we all have it. Increased appetite and weight gain. This is because the body needs huge amounts of energy to power the process, and often it helps them to feel more grounded. So, I put on 30 pounds over about 10 years. What about you guys? Weight gain?
Yep.
It's to help you feel grounded. Feeling strange electrical waves that are assisting the body to rewire and align to higher energies and vibrations.
Yep.
The body eventually acclimates to the dealing with these energy waves. And there's a whole range of physical sensations and experiences, usually related to detoxification as we change our DNA, RNA, moving into higher consciousness. Joint pain in the knees. Anyone suffering? Hip pains? Back pains? Often this is related. Headaches, especially at the base of the skull, also the neck and shoulder pains. How many of you are getting frequent headaches, dizziness, and spaciness? I call this, hello, is anybody at home in my head? Disrupted sleep patterns, often awakening at 3 a.m. as the consciousness adapts to the lower dimensions at this quiet time. Anyone who knows me well knows I'm often awake in the middle of night to put down lessons on paper and write spiritual talks. Anyone here identify with this one, 4 o'clock in the morning awakening? The third eye is the pineal gland, and many spiritual systems recognize the center's association with higher states of awareness, spiritual insight, intuition, and clairvoyance. How many see spirit? Oh, not as many as I thought. Okay. The chemicals that trigger the dream state peak around 4 a.m. This is why we have more vivid dreams at this time. These sensations tend to increase with solar flares and full moons as well. Many of my colleagues and friends call me when they feel this way to check on earthquakes, volcanoes, etc., as I have a posting from the National Weather Station to help me identify what's going on in me. Aches and pains, can't function, into tears for no reason. These are all energetic shifts within the world. For 3 days prior to Japan, having its tsunami, I sat in my big chair in the family room crying, knowing something major was about to happen, but not sure what it was. What a shock. So we have a couple of varieties of Indigo kids. I'm the scout, then we have 2 more groups that are coming in. The first wave came in basically from the 1970s to the 90s, and then the second group came in from the 80s to the 90s. So there's a lot of similar traits, but there's also differences depending upon where their parents were, what the group peer was like, and how open they were to working and communicating with spirit. They're often born to New Age parents and are above average in spiritual awareness, compassion, love, and the desire for harmony. They're extremely intuitive and can sense honesty like a cat or dog can sense fear. They know when they're being lied to, patronized, or manipulated. Boy, you should see with my daughter. Mom, why are you dealing with them? You know they're not telling you the truth. And I say, this is their experience to learn. But boy, did I get it at home for years. My son, while in high school, came home to say he did not want to attend a specific class as he disagreed with how the class was being taught in grade 9. I encouraged James to do his best. I encouraged him to stay in the class and try to focus and try to give what they needed. We're there to learn their methods of what we need to know, not to find our own. Anyway, I was at the school talking to one of the other teachers, and the teacher that he had that he wasn't happy with came up and started talking to me. I came home, apologized to my son, told him to drop the class and find another one to get into. He was absolutely right. This teacher had no integrity. It's imperative that we listen to our children. They speak the truth. This is why Montessori and unique schools like Waddell and Ajax are even more needed today. They see children as full of potential, competent, and capable of building their own theories as partners in the learning process. Their collective purpose is to usher us into the new world of integrity. The warrior-like spirit is very threatening to some adults. They do not have the ability to disassociate from their feelings and pretend like everything's okay unless they're medicated and sedated. To accomplish this, they have tempers and fiery determination. They are often misunderstood and mislabeled. Attention deficit disorder, attention deficit with hyperactivity disorder. When medicated, they lose the beautiful sensitivity, spiritual gifts, and warrior energy. How sad. Doreen Virtue wrote that ADHD should stand for attention dialed into higher dimension. Boy, does she have that one right. The majority are natural vegetarians and instinctively know that what they need to feed the body. When given proper nutrition, they excel. I've been working with some of these young people to help them and their parents identify their strengths and get assistance with their weaknesses. Some of these can only read at grade 1 level, but ask about computers or mechanical. Wow, that's a whole different story. It's exciting to be around them. Experts. We have to help them on their journey, for as they find what direction they should be focusing on, everything else around them falls into place. So now we come to the crystals. And anyone here I would say 15 years and younger, you're probably a crystal or a rainbow. They have large, penetrating eyes and are wise beyond their years. They're known as the peacekeepers. How many times have you seen in a schoolyard where a child will go in and try to stop the fighting that's going on? My son had his front teeth smashed out because he intervened. Sad. Crystals love water, animals, plants, nature, and rocks. They are generous to a fault. I'm aware of a young man who gives everything away to the mother's chagrin. She has to go out and replace everything from clothing to food supplies. He's a costly one. They're also very, very affectionate and forgiving. They do not hold grudges. They have tremendous telepathic abilities as they can read mind and people's energy. I was asked to assist a young lad in junior kindergarten a few years back. Every time someone dropped a pencil, a pen, or a pin, this poor lad would go through the roof. So I went over to the house to help out. The parents were here from Yugoslavia to bring the child here so that he would not be in the war-torn country. And as I sat down and talked to him, I saw that he had been in the war and had lost his life a few years prior in Yugoslavia. And when he came in, his parents didn't want him involved in that. So I very gently walked him through the process and started explaining to him the things he was seeing, the things he was feeling, and explaining to him that he was now in Canada and he was safe. And this was not going to happen here. That's why he was brought to Canada. Everyone seemed satisfied and I carried on. About 2 years later, I get a knock at my front door. And here's this young lad, and he says to me, "Missy Alva, my mommy has a new baby, and it's got health issues. Do you think you can help us?" I said, "Sure, come on in." Turned out the child was lactose intolerant, explained to the mom what to do and where to get the proper nutrition for this child, and I haven't seen them since. Those are the moments that you live for, because you know you've turned someone's life around and helped them get on track. That's what I love about what I do. Okay, so when these children look at you, you realize your soul is being laid bare, for these children see who you truly are. They're happy, delightful, and have the purpose of bringing love into all of our lives. And last but not least are the rainbows. There's another generation coming. I haven't totally identified them yet, but these are our miniature nerds. So the rainbows. They're new souls that do not carry any karma. Therefore, they've never lived on our planet. They choose crystal children as their parents. They are perfectly balanced in male-female energies. These are the healers and breaking down the paradigm of traditional thinking. Rainbows are highly energetic, strong personalities with the ability to shift energy. They want to meet the highest need of humanity. And if you're around them, they can actually take someone's energy and help them to heal. Watch for these kids. These are our latest that are really, truly gifted. I've only run into one so far. Rainbow children can change the color of their auras depending on their thought process. The frontal lobe of these children is more extended and processes at a much quicker rate. The differences in their DNA makes them more immune to disease as they grow older. Sorry, I had to cut it down to 20 minutes. Okay. We as Indigos are embracing our mission as avatars to help the world regain peace and harmony. All the wars that are going on in Europe, these are all Indigos that do not wish to be in war. but know that they have to stand up to make the difference. Send them your love. Send them your prayers. It's the only way we're going to change the world. It's an unfortunate fact that our own civilized food supply no longer feeds us well nutritionally. Much of what we eat is overprocessed, denatured, and acidic food, depleting our bodies, robbing us rather than feeding us. We in North America need to supplement our diets in the most efficient and economical means. And if you take a look, there are a lot of vendors here today that have products that can help you do that. It is my wish to share my knowledge and awareness of the miracle tree called moringa. And I have to tell you, everything that I've done, I've never stopped going to school. I even have a background in horticulture. It was recognized, moringa was recognized by the National Institute of Health as the Botanical of the Year for 2007 and praised again in November as it was written up in National Geographic. You have to be good to get in there. Nations have honored it with names such as the mana tree, mother's milk, never die. This plant has saved more lives in third world countries as it is being used to reverse malnutrition by the Peace Corps. And it costs them about $1.50 a day to do this. It's as if God picked one tree and packed it with every necessary nutrient and pharmacy full of natural medicines in a bioavailable form. Does everybody know what I mean by bioavailable? Okay. With 90 plus nutrients, 46 antioxidants, 36 anti-inflammatories, and more. Moringa has proven to be the most nutrient-dense and enzymatically alive botanical known to man. And it's written up in the Bible, Ezekiel 25:17. The Lord threw the tree into the water, and it cleared the water so that they could drink it. Look it up for yourself. Simply put, it supports you with the plant life force energy of adaptogens to allow the shift to eliminate toxins and move you forward gently through all the emotional blockages. That's what I love about it. Not only are you cleaning up, but emotionally it supports you on your journey. That's why I'm involved. As with natural healing, it does not happen instantly. It takes time. If you would like more information or you would like to try this product, please join us in the booth. And I thank you for coming out and allowing me to share my information. What I'd like to say is, for anyone that might be interested in being involved in my documentary, I'm writing my life story. As an indigo, I started out at 11 months sharing my insights with the world. I'm 65. So I think it's time to write a documentary and help as many out there as possible to identify their gifts, learn how nutritionally to find the right path, get them on track when they fall in between the railway tracks that they don't know where they're going anymore, and help them be the perspective, well-loving people that they can truly be. Thank you for allowing me to share.